I don't think you completely heal from going through something so traumatic from childhood because for me personally, it stays with me backwards in those to those moments where those terrible crimes were committed against me. And I didn't have any choices back then. Right now, doing things which helps me daily, such as therapy or making sense of what happened, like knowing and understanding it wasn't my fault. And people do really bad things, really, really bad things. But the thing which crosses my mind is how can grown adults take advantage of children? And sometimes there aren't any consequences. Um, or, making my going through those moments where I had no choice but to do what I had to do because I was stuck in a country, in a village by myself with strangers, complete strangers. So I had to act the part and become the adult they wanted me to become. Still in the inside in my heart, I was still that child crying, weeping, yearning to be free. Um, at this moment, right now, present, my future right here, showing up to this podcast actually is quite healing for me. And speaking up, it's actually hoping that others can hear and listen and learn something and say, you know what, I've been through that and I'm not alone.
We all have different experiences with the same common pain. My childhood it doesn't have any pointed situation that I can say this happens to me. It was more psychological and emotional, which is very hard to prove, as we all know. I always felt that it was something wrong with me. Like I just didn't belong to these people. So I wasn't able to be my true self ever until I found you guys. I mean, you and the group that we have before with Fabi, that I was able to feel the way that I feel right now. And it's so important. I have avoided talking to people because I'm in a lot of stress lately. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. I text for courtesy, but not because I feel like. I just want to be in my own bubble. So when Charmaine is talking, the story is about she didn't belong to the childhood she was living. And this is painful because we feel connection and understanding and sense of belonging and community. And you just confirm that, saying that this podcast is giving you like a relief feeling, the fact that you can talk about yourself truly. This is human need. And I think uh, I'm not sure what is going to happen with this podcast, but I think we we are going to talk a little bit more about biases and judgment. The fact that we are different make us more compassionate, understanding. So usually for us, it's easier to understand somebody else than for somebody else to understand us. And we experienced this pain for so long because we didn't even know who to talk to.
Here's the thing, there's so many different layers to what I went through. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying poor me. Perhaps I absolutely, this is why I showed up today. And I really appreciate this community, this podcast where I can speak and I'm comfortable speaking. And I've had this burning desire, this passion to speak up, speak out. Stop complaining about being a forced child bride. This is normal. Go back home. Don't complain. Don't report it. This is going to be your fault if your family gets in trouble.
Yes.
And this just really made me sink even deeper. And then it's not only the fact that I was forced to be a grown up, forced to act and do grown up things with this complete stranger. And it's trapping a child who still looks like a child in a child's body, looks like a little kid. But then I had to be a grown-up.
Yeah.
And just felt like no one cared, but I never gave up. I knew one day I'd escape, and I did escape this.
It's a process, and this is the reason why we have these communities, because we need somebody to remind us that it's not our fault. We just experience abnormal situations or situations that shouldn't been there for us to experience. I appreciate your resilience and the smartness to find a way to survive. It is a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
As like for me, I think the negative of my life was more destructive and adaptive to my adult life and my future. And Nirvana, I just feel like you just got robbed of so many things, but I feel even worse because it was done by a parent that's supposed to love and cherish you. And on my negative side, it was the parent that was supposed to love and cherish me that caused me all this harm. So I know where you're coming from with that kind of pain. Right?
The experience comes from the childhood. We're not expert. We're just trying to find a way out. So in the process, we have to read a lot, reach out to people, talk to psychologists.
Yo comencé a trabajar las heridas de infancia. Me di cuenta de que yo estaba llena de ira, estaba frustrada, porque todas esas emociones que me tragué por mucho tiempo y no las podía expresar por miedo, por culpa, por no dañar a esas personas, hicieron que mi cuerpo se enfermara.
Another thing, when we experience this life, we don't develop tools to price ourselves. We, on the contrary, we always criticize ourselves and we feel that we are not enough. And for me, I think that has been one of the hardest things to learn, to see back and say, oh, you have done a lot. So you really are strong. You're smart. You deserve, better because you have been working on being a better person every single day. So I think it's the same with all of us. It's hard. We can do and praise and, admire other people, but it's very hard to do it to ourselves. I'm not sure if you're with me in that feeling.
It is hard for us to, to heal ourselves and look at ourselves and give ourselves some sympathy, give ourselves some compassion, give ourselves some understanding. But yeah, it's easy to go out there and give it to other people. And I think we need to start forgiving ourselves. I think we need to start taking care of ourselves, letting go of a lot of things and being okay with it. Have some compassion for yourself. Have some understanding for yourself.
And listen to your emotions without doubting. It happens to me, like in these days, I have been so tired, as I said, because my mind is all over, and there is nothing that tiring you more than overthinking. So, as I said at the beginning, I cut off a lot of people because I don't have energy to talk to anybody. But it has been a battle in my head, because I still don't think I deserve time for myself to take care of my emotions. So it is about, I'm here talking to you. I'm thinking I didn't talk to somebody and then the sending messages. I need to call them back and explain why. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect your feelings. You need to respect your space, your secluded space. You need it. You are the only one that knows what's happening inside of you, right? So, but still, these doubts, this is tiring. It is tiring.
Well, can I say something? I feel like, given what we've all been through, we've all earned the right to not have to explain ourselves to anyone for anything right now, because that's been living the life for me personally that I've had to live, or that I had no choice to live. Situations that I was placed into. No. I'm here. I've survived, and I'm not going to explain myself to anyone. And I completely agree with you when you said, you've had to disconnect. I disconnected, and pardon me if this sounds bad, but it's not bad. I had to do what I had to do. For me, this year is going to be 10 years since I have not spoken to my mother.
Yeah.
And that was when I started to become more aware of what was going on, because the game for her and the older siblings continued, because it was all about control. Like, I never had a chance. And this is the thing that I really want to send this message loud and clear, a very strong message. People need to understand that the stuff that happened to me that's happening to children, because I was a child, is purposely, intentionally done at the age where a child, they've stunted my emotional growth, my mental growth, my sense of awareness. That was intentionally done so that I won't be exposed to out there, a world, freedom. They did not want me to be exposed. They didn't want me to have friends. I was removed from friendships. And then connecting me to a man that's like 10 years older than me, so that I wouldn't escape. I wouldn't have freedom. I'd have to look towards him for money. Did he give me money? I didn't know I was entitled to my freedom, my education, me earning my money and not looking towards him or asking him to buy me a cup of coffee. I didn't know that freedom. I didn't know I was entitled to that, because I will always say this: I have a right to be here. We all have a right to be here. And at the end of the day, at the beginning of the morning, we have, what we give out, we get back.
Yeah.
And my intentions is to do as much good as possible.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, it is. We have the feeling or the need to ask why these people do that, why these people is that like that, and I think that there is no answer for those things, because I was the kind of person that I wanted to justify every single thing that happened in the world. It doesn't make me any good. It makes it harder for you to understand that you deserve a life, you need space, you don't have to understand the other side, the other person, or the other group of people. You don't have to, and you probably will never do. It's just that's the way they are. And I don't know if that happens to any of you, but I spent so long trying to understand why the rest of the people that I knew did what they did. We need to cure.
Yeah, definitely. I just want to say something, because I was just racking my brain why somebody would do something so horrible to another person, because even though I'm not in love with him, I would never do something that horrible. Like, in my head, I'm always thinking that's my kid's father, right? Yeah, I want to make this divorce as peaceful as possible. I want them to, to have their life. And I kept saying that to the psychiatrist, and he said to me, he says, you don't need to understand. You can't understand. You don't think like him. You're not like him. These thoughts that he has, you don't have, you've never had, so you'll never understand. So you need to let that go and just move on, because you could bang your head against the wall trying to figure out why somebody did something, how would you know? You're not that kind of person, right? You would never get an answer for that. So that's one of the things that I want to.
So what I've come to understand the past couple of years, I needed to protect myself, but I didn't know, I didn't have like this podcast is like there are words to explain what we're going through. I didn't know that I was disassociating because when I was trapped back in South America in a village.
Y cuando no tenemos la oportunidad de alejarnos, cuando no podemos tomar distancia a esa persona que más nos hizo daño.
Yeah, that's a very hard question for me, but I'm pretty sure Charmaine and Nirvana can answer that.